As 2013 has come to an end, the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago invites you to take a look at the significant events that have made the last year in Parliament a memorable one. In this review, we feature the events that have helped Parliament remain an independent institution while ensuring that our country's democracy remains vibrant and strong. Welcome to Rewind 2013.
Parliamentary business. 2013 began with the resumption of Parliament's most well-known activity, debates on proposed legislation, as sittings of the House of Representatives and the Senate got underway and continued until December. In 2013, 13 Acts of Parliament were passed. Many bills were debated, 3 of which generated heavy discussion within the chamber and among the public. The Dog Control Bill 2013 sought to provide for the control and regulation of certain breeds of dogs classified as dangerous and the manner in which they are kept by their owners. This act repealed the previous Dangerous Dogs Act of 2000 and was passed in both houses in July. The Municipal Corporations Amendment Bill 2013, which amended the Municipal Corporations Act, changed the number of aldermen that could be elected to a municipal corporation and provided for the election of such aldermen by proportional representation. And the Miscellaneous Provisions Defense and Police Complaints Bill 2013 sought to give to members of the Defense Force the same powers, authorities, privileges, and immunities that are normally given to members of the police service. These privileges would have only applied in cases where soldiers are called in to assist the police in the maintenance of law and order. While the bill was passed in the House of Representatives, it was not passed in the Senate. Election fever was felt early in the year, as in February, the Electoral College met to cast its vote to decide the country's next president. Former International Criminal Court Judge Anthony Thomas Aquinas Carmona, SC, was nominated unopposed and emerged as the successful candidate. Approximately 1 month later, on March 18th, President Carmona officially replaced his predecessor, Professor George Maxwell Richards, becoming this country's 5th president. Parliament held a ceremonial opening on August 2nd, signaling the beginning of the 4th session of the 10th Republican Parliament. President of the Republic, His Excellency Anthony Carmona, SC, addressed members of both the House of Representatives and the Senate. One of the main responsibilities of Parliament is the oversight function it exercises through its various parliamentary committees or joint select committees. In 2013, there were 19 public hearings by the JSCs. The meetings were broken down as follows: Public Accounts Committee 4, Public Accounts Enterprises Committee 4, Joint Select Committee Group 1 5, Joint Select Committee Group 2 7, and Joint Select Committee Municipal Corporation and Service Commission 6. In November, chairmen of the Joint Select Committees presented findings of their inquiries into various government ministries and agencies at a media briefing held at the office of the Parliament. This marked the first time that JSC reports were presented via this method. Such briefings will become regular occurrences throughout 2014 as chairmen move to keep not only the media fully informed of the work of committees, but also the wider general public. There were several changes in the membership of the House in 2013. In the case of the House of Representatives, there were 2 by-elections. On July 29th, Mr. Jack Warner was re-elected as representative for Chaguanas West, and on November 4th, former opposition senator Mr. Terence Dialsing became the new representative for St. Joseph. Similarly, in the Senate, there were the appointments of 10 new senators. In September, Mrs. Razia Ahmed, Minister of State in the Ministry of Gender, Youth and Child Development, Mr. Gary Griffith, Minister of National Security, and Mr. Gerald Hadid, Minister of Communications, were all appointed new government senators, while Messrs. H.R. Ian Roach, David Small, Anthony Vieira, and Danishwar Mahabir were appointed to the independent bench. In December, Mr. Avinash Singh, Mrs. Camille Robinson Regis, and Mrs. Diane Baldeo Chedi Singh were also sworn in as new opposition senators.
Outreach activities. March proved to be a significant month for Parliament as one of its major outreach initiatives, the School Outreach Series, was launched. The objectives of the series were to build awareness of the role and importance of the Parliament in sustaining democracy and promoting good governance, to encourage youth participation and partnership in the decision-making process, and to develop a sense of civic pride among young persons. During the period March to May, 7 outreach visits were organized in 7 of the 8 school districts throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Participating schools included Queen's Royal College, where the speaker presented a discussion on the role of Parliament in promoting democracy in Trinidad and Tobago, Brazil Secondary and Coria Secondary Schools. Here, the President of the Senate presented a discussion on the role of Parliament in promoting democracy in Trinidad and Tobago, Faizabad Secondary and Faizabad Anglican Secondary Schools, on the topic, the role of committees in maintaining transparency and democracy, Goodwood High, Speyside High and Roxborough Secondary Schools in Tobago. Here, the topic focused on the process of lawmaking, Rio Claro East and West Secondary Schools, the role of an MP, and St. Augustine Girls High School and Hillview College, the role of media and civil society as supporters of democracy. The first phase of the School Outreach Series ended on May 29th with a visit by the speaker to the students of San Fernando West, San Fernando Central and Pleasantville Secondary Schools. Here, he delivered a presentation on the role of an MP. The second phase of the outreach resumed in October with Parliament hosting students of Woodbrook Secondary, St. James Secondary and the Sixth Form Government Polytechnic Institute, where they learnt about citizen engagement and Parliament. Visits also involved students of the Toko, Matura and Matlot secondary schools on the topic, the role of the presiding officer. The final school's visit for 2013 involved students of Ashdar Girls College, Saraswati Girls Hindu College and Holy Faith Convent, Couva. The topic for discussion was gender affairs and Parliament. Coming out of the school's outreach in mid-August, Parliament hosted 3 students as part of an apprenticeship program. From August 12th to 17th, the students were given a series of challenges to complete while they were exposed to learning about the primary functions of our legislature. Their entire week was videotaped and shown as a reality TV series on the Parliament channel, Facebook and YouTube, appropriately entitled The Parliament Apprentice. In addition to the school's outreach series and the Parliament Apprentice, school and group tours to the Parliament Chamber were regular features on the outreach calendar. On October 28th, young people became the centre of attention when Parliament hosted the 11th National Youth Parliament Debate. After weeks of intensive training, students from secondary schools across the country were given the opportunity to act as members of Parliament and parliamentary staff during a mock parliamentary debate. Held annually, last year's motion for debate was combating violence in schools.
Other parliamentary activities. Commonwealth Day is usually celebrated on the second Monday in March. However, in 2013, the day was commemorated on Tuesday, March 12th. Under the theme Opportunity Through Enterprise, Parliament hosted a day of activities for students from secondary schools across the country. A visit by the President of the People's Republic of China, His Excellency Xi Jinping, on June 1st marked an historic moment for Trinidad and Tobago and by extension the Parliament. The President's visit at Parliament was aimed at strengthening coordination and cooperation between the legislatures of the People's Republic of China and Trinidad and Tobago. The original home of the Parliament, the Red House, became the center of attention when skeletal remains were found on the site in March 2013. Subsequent DNA and carbon testing confirmed that the remains were of Amerindian origin and that the bones dated from 430 AD to 1390 AD. as this discovery could have signaled the existence of other historical and cultural material at the Red House, the Parliament assembled an archaeological research and rescue excavation team, which was given responsibility for the proper retrieval and classification of the artifacts. Actual construction and restoration work on the Red House is expected to commence in February 2014. The Parliament continued work toward the development of its 3-year comprehensive strategic plan. The project, which began in 2012, was supported by the United Nations Development Programme and was geared towards strengthening the functions of Parliament. The institution also focused on the professional development of its members, as parliamentarians from both houses participated in a variety of training sessions and workshops on parliamentary matters. These sessions focused on themes which included governance at national, regional, and local authority levels, the role of parliamentarians in the promotion and protection of human rights, strengthening parliamentary and Caribbean democracy, as well as the use of media to enhance citizen engagement. Ending a 2-year partnership with the European Union, a practical workshop session focused on enhancing Parliament's role through independent budget analysis and practical training on improving financial oversight was held. Wrapping up the year 2013 were the many courtesy calls by foreign dignitaries to the presiding officers. Some of the visitors included the Honourable Marie Ficarra, a member of the Legislative Council, Parliament of New South Wales in Australia. The Honourable Jennifer Simmons, Speaker of the House of Parliament of the National Assembly of the Republic of Suriname, Dr. William Shija, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Mr. Ian Hansen, and Miss Emily Hancox, members of the Legislative Assembly of the Falklands Islands, and Mr. Chan Santoki, leader of the opposition in Suriname.
Since its inception in 1961, the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago has always sought to ensure that the principles of democracy and human rights are equally applicable to all citizens. Indeed, the main function of the institution is to promote and serve the interests of the citizens of our country. However, it is only with your continued engagement and participation that Parliament can remain truly strong, independent, and effective.